For this demonstration, I'm going back to this scene where we have this little walk cycle of the robot. Okay, and assuming this is my own document, which is city scene drawing, as you can see on the stage, but we will continue showing this robot is jumping from one stage to the other. Okay, now that's possible literally by working within the same timeline as well. As you can see, that's the last frame of the timeline, 105. Okay, now I can just jump onto the top layer, add a new layer, and at 106 I will insert a keyframe, so everything else behind the scene will disappear, and we can start recreating all the new drawings and everything on the same particular timeline. But that's gonna confuse a lot for you, because you have so many things within the one timeline. It makes your life very difficult to edit. Now for that reason, instead of cluttering everything in one stage and one timeline, we can add a second scene which will start from frame number 1 itself. Okay, now how it does that, that's what I'm going to show you. Let me remove this file. Okay, so current animation runs up to frame number 105. If you can see this stage of the Flash document at the top, just where we have the zoom in percentage values, there is an icon for edit symbols where it shows the list of all the symbols you have in your library, and you can just pick the symbol to edit. And before that, there's an option which looks like a cinema trap. Okay, now that is where it shows you the number of scenes you have right now in your file. Currently, in the top left corner, you can see it only shows this is the scene 1, which is your main scene. Okay, now we don't have any other scene. So by default, Flash will not give you multiple scenes. There will be only one, which will be default named as scene 1. But you can go to the window menu, and there's other panels window there. Under the other panels, we have an option for scene. Okay, Shift F2 is a hotkey. So if you click on that, we get this scenes panel on the screen. Let me just keep it aside. Now here you can see it shows your first scene, which is scene 1. If you want, you can double click on it and we can create homepage as the name of the scene. Alright, you can see in the top left corner the name of the scene has been renamed as well. So when you have a project and you have more than 2-3 scenes, give them a name. Just like in HTML we give a page names. Similarly for scenes, give what that scene is doing, so it will be easy for you to edit and easy for your group to work together as well. Okay, so that's the first scene which I've just renamed. At the bottom of the scenes panel, there's an option for edit scene, the add scene, duplicate scene, and delete scene. Means we can delete, we can add a brand new scene. So if I just click on add scene, in the same document of city scene, I can see the scene 2. Alright, but in the scenes 2, it starts from frame number 1. It will have only the default background color of your stage, nothing else on the stage, right? But the timeline and the entire animation of scene 1 is still there in the same file. Okay, if you go to the scenes window or scenes panel, you can click on the home page and you can see all the contents of your first scene. When you want to work with the second, you just click on second and it shows your second scene. Okay, that's very easy. Most of the time you might not require even adding scene. You may just go to the home page. Let's say I'm working with this project, and more or less header, footer kind of things I want to keep common in all the scenes. Then it's easy to select your main scene and just click on duplicate. When you duplicate scene, it literally makes a copy of the entire scene, means including all the timelines, all the stage drawings as it is. And see on the scenes window panel as well, you can see the home page is the main scene, home page copy is the second scene. We can rename that as um, scene copy. You can go in this scene and we can select, maybe let's say I want to go and select the buildings and I don't want them, so I can delete that. Windows, I don't want them. Grass, I just want to make the grass, which is this. Uncheck the grass layer, select the grass, and I want to change the color of the grass. So I'm going to really change the color to dark green, just like that. And just to show the difference, I will go to edit, and you can do edit. It modifies it. Transform, flip horizontal, so it just goes other way around. Now homepage will have all its drawing as it is. Homepage scene copy we have modified by deleting some contents and keeping some contents with modification. Let me go back to homepage. The last scene is, I'll say, end scene, and I'll just say here text tool, thank you for watching. Align, reduce your font sizes, right. This is my last scene, which is the end scene. I want to show this thank you for literally, let's say 2 seconds. So I will only insert a frame here. Now you can see this scene will only show thank you for watching for maybe 1 or 2 seconds. What will happen is, the moment we test our movie, it will run the homepage scene. Then the moment homepage scene finishes at frame number 105, the timeline, this red playhead, will jump from 105th frame of scene 1 into the first frame of scene copy. When it finishes that timeline, the playhead will jump from that scene to the end scene and the first frame of the end scene. So like that, the playhead will keep continuing and streaming every single frame from scene to scene. That's how animation cartoons been created as well. They have multiple scenes, one file, and the timeline keeps playing all the time. Let me test this file, and this is how it will probably appear. That's scene 1, scene 2, that's the end of scene. Now when you add the audio in the scene 1, the moment your song starts, it will not end unless until you stop it by using ActionScript or by using some editing of sound frames. Okay, but normally if the sound is there, you know that your project's gonna last for 2 minutes. You create the audio clip of 2 minutes, drop it onto the scene 1. The audio clip you don't need to drop on every single scene. When it starts from scene 1, it will continue to play until the last frame of the last scene. That's how the Flash works in terms of playing movie. I've also shown you how we can edit scene names. We can duplicate scenes so that we can keep the contents common, or we can simply add a brand new scene for continuations of the project. Okay, if you want, you can add another scene. Let's say I got scene 4. I'm going to add, let's say, a night scene. Okay, in this scene I will simply use the rectangle tool. I'm not going to change the stage color now, otherwise it will change it for all the scenes. For this particular scene number 4, I want to show the dark night and the same robot is walking again. Okay, but here to do that I will use rectangle tool with the black color, and I will simply add black rectangle covering the whole stage. Okay, that layer I will rename as PG, lock it. This editing right now I'm doing in my night scene. Okay, Then the new layer I'm going to add as a stars. For this layer we are going to show all the stars. Now I have created stars already in a separate file which is in this tab. Okay, it's a star movie clip. I'm going back to this scene here, and if I'll go to library, currently it only shows me 3 symbols which is of my current scene file. Okay, but at the top of the library there's an option where it shows the name of the file. Do you see that? When you drop it down in Flash, you can actually swap your movie clips or graphics or buttons, means any symbol you have, you can swap it from one file to the other file. That's what the Flash is quite popular for reusing your symbols in any other files you like. Okay, now I've got 2 files. One file has a star and the other file is my actual project which I'm working. So as long as those 2 documents are open in your Flash software, in the library it will show all the files you have opened in Flash. Okay, and if I'll just change the current file to stars, it doesn't change the file on the stage, but it only changes the symbols in the library, which is really good. Now being in the city file, I can go to the library of stars file and take this movie clip and drop it onto this document wherever I want. By Alt I can drag multiple symbols randomly. Couple of symbols I'm going to pick, and we can go to the properties of movie clips. We can change the color effect alpha, reduce it, so some star will be faded, some star will have a different combinations, just like that. We can change some of the stars, we can change colors, which is just changing the external properties of movie clips, which I already explained you last time. Just adding a little bit of tint of different colors. Okay, you can resize them to make it more exciting. Okay. Now here I'm going to simply create an oval tool with a white color, and when we test now what it is a scene 4 I'm working on. If you test your movie, it will test all the 4 scenes together. Okay, but sometimes you don't want that. When you just work on one scene, you want to only test that scene. Otherwise you have to wait first Flash to play first 3 scenes and then you go to the last scene. You know, it's quite irritating sometimes. But in Flash, if I'm working in this particular scene, which is my night scene, I can go to Control, and instead of test movie, Control Enter, I can just test scene. When you test scene, it only tests that particular scene rather than playing the whole movie. Okay, you will find it very useful, I'm telling you, because when you work on the projects, you don't want to wait until the last scene to appear. So if I just use test scene, it will only test the night scene, which is, this is how it looks. Now we are going to show the same robot walking here as well. Okay, now to do that, I'm going back to the library, changing my library from stars file to the main file, which is the actual document, so I can use this robot now in this particular scene. Okay, second layer locked. I'm going to add third layer, which is a robot. Let me get him back. Keep it on the right hand side first today, sorry, left hand side. Modified, transform, flip horizontal, so it looks other way side. Okay, then as usual, simple motion tween, give him a bit more frames. Other layers, we just need to show them as it is till the end, but the last frame for the robot, we'll keep him on the right hand side. I'm just going to give a bit curve so it looks like he's scaling across the mountain. bit more. That's fine. Okay. Now in this scene, I will change this movie clip's color as well, so it will look like it's a different robot. So let me just scale him. Sorry, not scale him. I will just change its properties by adding the tint color. It'll look like that. Yeah. Now this is scene 4. Going back to window, other panels scene. I want the night scene to be before the end scene. So if simply from this panel, drag and drop this scene above the end scene, and then save your file. Test the whole movie. That's your scene 1. Scene 2. Scene 3. And the end, which is the last scene. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording.